No car in the 90s quite said boy racer like the Citroen Saxo VTR. Even the Vauxhall Nova's clientele seemed almost sophisticated compared to the baseball cap-wearing drivers of the latest hot hatchback to come out of France. Cheap enough for first-time drivers and low enough down on the insurance database to leave a bit of change left over for stick-on light brows and other much-needed aerodynamic enhancements, it looked like France had really picked up the mantle of hot hatch motoring. With its wide arches and its chunky wheels, its raspy exhaust note, the Saxo VTR made no secret about who it was taking aim at or where it would be spending its Friday evenings.
Seemingly a repackaged Citroen AX, the Saxo VTR used the 1.6-litre version of the 8-valve TU engine we'd seen as far back as the mid-80s. And with good reason. The engine was reliable and offered good, torquey, old-fashioned power. Hung in a light, taut body shell with stiffer suspension and precise, sporty-feeling driving dynamics, the VTR would have been the answer to the boy racer's every question.
If it hadn't been for that, the Saxo VTS.
One little letter changed everything. That and a few extra valves. Peugeot did it with the 1.6 and 1.9 205 GTI, Vauxhall with the Nova GTE and GSI, and Ford with the XR2i and RS Turbo. And thanks to the legacy left by the forerunners of the Saxo's generation, that little letter also made the wrong people sit up and take notice. The car thieves, the insurance underwriters. As an innocent, three-stripe boy racer in the 90s, you were a victim of the system. Did you opt for more valves and in doing so use up the extra money you were going to spend on neon lights and aero?
More valves meant more power, 120 brake horsepower in the VTS over the 100 in the VTR. It also meant a few other things like those smart 15-inch alloys, and also it gained a passenger airbag and ABS. Now, while I'm sure the boy racers weren't that excited about driver assists and airbags, they must have been pretty excited by the phrase in the brochure that read, "Sports Interior."
These seats remind me of the first generation Citroen C5, which if you've ever had the pleasure, you'll know isn't necessarily a good thing. What sport were they thinking exactly? Croquet? The ones in the VTR are marginally better. Marginally.
In Japan, car manufacturers sell versions of their sports models with space-saver wheels, single seats, and no carpet. That's because they know a lot of people buy cars like, say, the GT86 with a view to stripping the standard trim off and modifying it. So what they're doing is saving buyers of these cars time and money. Let's face it, back in the day, no one bought a Saxo VTR or VTS to keep it standard, save for the odd primary school teacher.
So this genuinely is a sports interior in that it encourages you to throw away the standard seats and buy bucket seats. So let's pretend that I'm sat in bucket seats. Are the sporting Saxos still as fun today now that we've all been exposed to supremely fast and a much more capable breed of modern hot hatch? In a word, yes. And that's why, for a number of years, I also campaigned a rally-prepared Saxo VTS.
Whether you choose the torquey VTR, arguably the better handling of the two with its smaller 14-inch wheels, or the Revy VTS with its closer gearbox ratios, you are guaranteed something that is far better than Bluetooth connectivity, acoustic exhaust valves, or fancy flat shift boxes.
You get a smile. Partly because it feels revvy, it feels tight, it feels ready to react, it feels like you're driving a hot hatch. But also because even the best low mileage example of either the VTR or VTS will leave you with plenty of change left over to buy some throwback period 90s accessories. Although probably don't. You'll have to be quick if you want a good one. An original low-mileage unmodified Saxo VTS is quite the mythical creature in eBay land these days, which creates a dilemma. Do you wait for a hen's teeth unmolested VTS to come up, or do you pick from one of the more numerous VTRs out there? Cheaper to buy, more insurance friendly, and more plentiful in supply, just like when they were new. Or I suppose if you're into that shabby chic fad, you could always buy a formerly boy-racered one with stick-on light brows and probably a slightly faded smell of the 90s.